Hey, what is going on, IK Familia? It is your boy BN, aka Mr. Kingdom Builder, and today we are back from, I don't even know, it doesn't even feel like we've had that much time off, but I just thought it'd be nice to kind of do a update video and just let you know a few things that are going on, and also updating on kind of where my priorities are going to start kind of refocusing on what I'll start doing in IK. But just wanted to make this, one, to give an update so people know, well, two, well, one, I still exist, two, what I'm still planning to do for the game, and then, just kind of three, reset expectations. So, sometimes it's, out of sight, out of mind. Definitely want to make sure that I'm still kind of in sight and in the mind, if that is the opposite of that. But with that being said, as always, if you enjoy the content, make sure you sub, like, ring the notification bell, and of course, you can always join our Discord if you'd like to be a part of the conversation. The link to that is going to be in the description, pinned comment right down below. So, right now, again, as most of you have known, I've definitely slowed down a little bit. There's just other games that I am partaking in right now that are just giving me just more of a sense of passion than IK is currently. Again, doesn't mean that the game isn't good, doesn't mean that there's not potential in the game. It is just my opinion and my playstyle for games that I like within the Kingdom Builder genre. And some of those I just feel are offering me personally just a little bit more. I'm sure IK for many of you still gives you the same, I don't want to say heat, but the same motivation and engagement that it has for many of us, right, for a while now. So with that being said, for me, again, the hope is to try and get to a point where I can still pump out, good content for the community, and things that I believe the community still wants to see, that, I'm kind of still somewhat uniquely positioned to do. And, some of those are going to be, right, still kind of the top 25 stats. I'm actually going to start working on those, I'm hoping, this week. So hopefully that's something that can give you all some content to look forward to. And again, I'm not sure exactly what day it will be, but again, sometime this week is when I'll start doing that, and we'll start putting together some top 25 stats. Now, probably as a disclaimer, and I'll mention this in the video, just depending on when I find time to make additional accounts, is going to be, right, there's probably going to be a limit or a cap, probably me just going up to server 160, more or less, at least until I do find probably 160, 165, until I'm able to find time just to kind of bang out some more accounts. So there will somewhat be a little bit of a soft cap where there could be a chance of me not, at times, covering the full range, where there could be a player or an alliance or someone that I just might miss out on because of that. Keep in mind it is a lot of work, along with me focusing my efforts on other games as well. Right, that just might be the only kind of disclaimer that I would put out in regards to that. It's not that I don't want to do it, because I would obviously love to cover as much. It's just I kind of have to be able to, min-max prioritize my time that I have available. But that is something I want to do. If I'm able to maybe dive back into, the most used marches or the most used artifacts, things like that I really love doing, kind of KVK breakdowns and overviews, to kind of give you some storylines from around. Those are the types of pieces of content that I'd love the chance to dive a little bit more into, just because it's not as demanding as it would be, for example, for me to play the game 24/7 or frequently, to just either update myself on anything that's new-ish, so to speak, or just be kind of involved with any current meta things that I just do not prefer to speak about unless I myself am up to date on those things. I just don't find that it's the best way to really kind of go about doing things in an appropriate way, where, if you're not really in touch in the game or in a game in certain areas, right? It's kind of more, like just stick to your lane, type of a thing. We might actually end up restarting the server analysis series and kind of re-going back through servers 1. I know people have been asking me to restart it and redo it, so that's another option too as well, on something I have been considering. I guess, people enjoy me kind of doing reviews and audits, if you will, to an extent on Kingdoms. I actually wish other games. It's the one that actually is the one thing. Well, not even the one thing. That's one of the things that I do love about what IK does different in that regard, which is that it allows for you to make an account, and that account will not go like be suspended or go into a sleep type of mode, right? Where you'll get all of the mails, all the rewards that are sent. I absolutely love that IK does that. Now, regardless on how you feel about it, right? You might feel indifferent or one way or another. But the reason I like it is because it allows for me to go into a kingdom, make just as many kingdoms as I want, right? Make all these accounts, and I can keep up with them. Where, if I look at a game like Rock, for example, I can make alts in 100 kingdoms, but if I want to be able to go into them at any time and read on mails, I have to log into those accounts at least once every week or once however often. It's a short period. Otherwise, the account will go inactive. So I love that about IK, and I actually just wish more games did that. Right? I understand the pros and cons of not, but for the most part, when you have an account that low, I just don't think it's really doing anything, right? You have to kind of think about it realistically. When you get to endgame in your home kingdom, right? We're talking before KVK starts. You're not going to have 10,000 active players, right? You're not going to have 10, 20,000 active players in your kingdom. You might have, up to 2,000 active players in your kingdom by the time, right? That's average. So, and then if you even think about the amount of recruiting that you can do, it's unlikely that you're probably ever going to exceed those numbers, right? If anything, you're going to float around them or a little bit lower. So even if you have however many accounts that are just alt or scout accounts in kingdoms, it's never really going to affect the bottom line. And if it did, I'd love to see the data on that. It just logically to me does not seem that that'll ever be something that it would ever affect. And I think for those reasons, right, that's one of the things I love about the way that IK does it, that I really wish more Kingdom Builder games did. I guess the last thing here would just kind of be resetting some expectations, which I kind of more or less have covered so far, but, just for kind of sake of argument, my expectations going forward with IK is that, because I think one of the common questions is, would I ever get back to a point where I'm consistently playing the game again as much as I once was? I will say this, I would love to get to a point where I am replaying IK as much as I once was. It's hard because, and I've said this before, plenty of times, just the general direction that the game is going in. Again, it's not to say that the general direction it's going in is bad or it's great. It's just not something that I personally find is my cup of tea. And I think that's important for us to be able to kind of speak our minds and, give feedback, when and where it's due, is, looking at those things on, what are the opportunities for improvement. I will say this, if IK changed a couple of things, I would effortlessly come back in a heartbeat and probably do another project for a new kingdom. I would come back and start doing more content on the game. It's just, it's one of those things where, you're around a game for a while and you just see update after update after update of just not really any hard, meaningful fixes or changes that are happening. And even, I actually just went on the Discord right now and I was looking through a couple of the channels, and they still have some of the bugs and just challenges, hurdles that they have still yet to fix, right? Whether they've fixed them completely or they have yet to start to fix. And so those are some of the things that I look at, and it just kind of gets to a point where, I think as a player, everyone has to kind of decide what they enjoy, what do they want out of a game. If you're a new player getting into Infinity Kingdom, or even just a new player getting into any Kingdom Builder for that matter, you may not necessarily know these things right away. It might take you a little bit of time to learn these things, right? And kind of basically catch up to where the bulk of the veteran community or people that have been around for a while are at, where you start realizing these things, right? Anytime you touch a new game that you have general interest in, there's always going to be a level of hype, a level of excitement, right? You're going to be kind of on cloud nine at a point. But over a period of time, you'll eventually come off that, and kind of realization, realism starts to set in, and that's where you'll start being able to kind of see any game for what it is and what maybe you thought it would be, or what you thought it could be. And even though I still think IK can be that game, I do think that it has a little ways to go right now. And, I know a good amount of the veteran community feels the same way, but some people are just very invested into the game. Some people, I'm sure, still enjoy playing the game. And, to each their own. This is the best explanation I can give you on how I feel going in. And, one of the things I like to say a lot is I think everyone is entitled and deserving of their own happiness and what they enjoy doing and where they want to spend their time and or their money for what they want to play. So, again, for me, IK has allotted me and offered me so much in the time that I've been a part of the community, and hope that I still can be, even when patch notes come out. I love doing the reviews for those. And, I'm hoping that, one of these days they'll come out with something that gets me re-excited as much as I once was about the game. But for now, as I said, I still plan to do content. I just am going to kind of be refocusing and reprioritizing the type of content that I'm going to end up doing, so I can kind of maximize as much as I can on the general interest for types of content, instead of kind of doing as much of a wide range as I once was. With that in mind, that's it for me. Again, I'd love to know your thoughts on anything I touched on in the video. Do you feel the same as me? Do you not feel the same as me? Are you still just as excited and just as hyped? What type of content, right, outside of kind of me doing the data collection with my top 25 series and anything else that you might see of interest that with me reprioritizing or refocusing could be specific, or certain types of content that you think might be good for me to focus on? I'd love to hear, right? Let me know anything and everything down there in the comments below. That is it for me. As always, until next time, I'll catch you later.